In this episode, I'll teach you how to become the woman men cannot get out of their head. I'll teach you how to stop overthinking, how to stop the constant analysis, and how to go from chasing men to being the one they are crazy about and cannot help but pursue. If you're new here, my name's Laura Nagel. I'm a dating strategist for high achieving women and the author of the Dream Framework, the first and only dating coaching program with a 6-month results guarantee. I have helped over 100 women find the one within months, and I would love for your story to be next. Let's get into it. I'm so excited to share this with you because while I am teaching this now to my clients, while I mastered it for myself, in the past, I would be the least detached woman you could imagine. Think type A mixed with anxiety, mixed with low self esteem, with high self confidence on top of that, which meant I had absolutely no self awareness whatsoever and no idea that the reason why I was struggling in dating so much was not the pull itself, but actually what was going on inside me. If the moment I said low self esteem and high confidence, you raised your eyebrow and went, how is that possible? Aren't these two interchangeable? I get it because this is how most of my clients react when I tell them that they have low self esteem. They go, but Laura, I have no problem speaking up for myself. I'm very good with people. I don't mind speaking publicly. I can give presentations. I might not enjoy it, but I do it. Whatever needs to be done, I get it done. So I am definitely not someone who's struggling on that self appreciation front. And that's problem number one, lack of understanding that there is a big, big difference between your self confidence and your self love. Because if you have all of these achievements and you think your confidence and your self esteem is high, and yet you are accepting crappy behavior from crappy men, something is clearly not clicking, right? And so let's talk about that first, the difference between confidence and self love. Self confidence, it's very external. This is the belief that whatever I set my mind to, I can achieve. So, if you are a high achieving woman, I'm sure your self confidence is at a very least a good level, like a solid 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, if not more. That's because confidence is built through action. And you've taken a lot of action in your life. And so you have plenty of proof that if you work hard enough, if you're strategic, if you ask the right questions, you are absolutely able to get to where you want to get to. And this is also why it frustrates you so much that with dating, you try to be strategic, you try to do the right stuff, and yet it's still not working. But that's because self confidence is not the only ingredient here. Now, self love, on the other hand, is very much internal. It is how we see ourselves, it's our self image, it's our identity, it's what we believe we are worthy of. When you take away the nice clothes, the achievement, the status, the productivity, your contribution to society and to your environment, to people around you, everything that's left after we take all of these things away, how much you not just tolerate or accept, but actually embrace and love and are proud of, will dictate how high your self esteem will be and what types of behavior you will accept or reject, even if your logical brain tells you otherwise. Your self love is a compass for navigating life in general, but dating life especially. It makes moving on from people and situations that don't serve you very easy, a total no brainer. It's actually what moves the needle for my clients the fastest as well. And so, getting your self esteem to a good, stable place is step number one. This is definitely something that's easier said than done. So, I am happy to do a deep dive on that. If you're interested in learning more, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. Now, number two is tough, especially if you're surrounded by other single people. I'm talking about breaking through your scarcity mindset around dating, because If you believe that finding a good man is hard, there are not many good men left, that all the good ones in your age bracket are taken, you are this more likely to accept crappy behaviors or give chances, even when you know it doesn't make sense. And so, as fun and comforting at times it might be when you're out with your girlfriends and you're just complaining about men and how hard dating is, all you're doing is hurting yourself by reaffirming that belief and programming your brain to actually seek out evidence for that theory. Now, I pulled up some quick stats to put this into perspective for you, because we all know there are 8 billion people in the world, but actually more than half of these 8 billion are men. So this already gives us an advantage that the pool for us is bigger than it is for the men. Out of these 4 billion, let's only consider people who are in your age bracket, so men between 30 and 40. Again, I'm being conservative here because realistically, the age range is probably from 25 to 50 when I take all of my clients into consideration and probably my audience for this video as well. And so that's roughly 14% of men, which means this is 560 million men in your age range. If I'm looking sideways, that's because my brain is just not tolerating numbers. Like, I know my people stuff very well. When it comes to the maths, it's hard. It's hard, but I'll do it. I'll get through it. So then, out of these 560 million, if we take out the ones who are already married or in long-term relationships, and again, being conservative, I'm taking away 60%. This means 224 million single men. Out of these men, around 5% will identify as gay, which leaves us with 213 million straight single men. And the last layer is the practical filters, and so language, culture, lifestyle, value, and the kind of life you want to build. And even if we assume that only 1% of those men live similar lives, share your language and broad values, that is still 2.1 million men who are realistically compatible. And I used 1% because many times when I first meet my clients, they say, well, I feel like what I want is this sort of 1% category, and I just don't know how long it's going to take me to find him. Well, you have at least 2 million men statistically who are available, and you just need one. So the dating pool that's available to you is extremely abundant, and you only literally need one. And so next time a Nick or a Jack or another Mark is treating you badly, don't be afraid to move on, because there are literally hundreds of thousands of men you can go out with and have a better time. Step number 3 is getting crystal clear on your standards and what you want in a relationship. And before you stop this episode here thinking, I've already done the list, thank you very much, this is not what I mean. What I often see in my clients is that they have a list of what they want in a man, but they don't stick to it, as if there was a disconnection between what they think they want and what they think they can get, or their list is so generic, it's obvious it won't work because it doesn't help you to actually navigate the dating process by being more discerning through that clarity. So, having the list, clarity, whatever you want to call it, but knowing exactly what you want in a relationship in detail is so helpful when it comes to navigating dating, because it helps you recognize when something is aligned or not very quickly. And that's a bonus piece of advice that I want to share here as well, is that sometimes women tell me, yes, but you never know which shape or form your love will take. Maybe you think you want a certain type of guy, but then the guy that's actually meant for you is somebody completely different. Well, that's a very romantic idea, but to that I say, this only works for literal teenagers who are still figuring themselves out, because at 30 and more, you know yourself well enough to know that if you're a very active person, your ideal partner will not be a couch potato. You know well enough that if you are a successful, driven person for whom personal growth and progress is important, you're not going to get on with a guy who's had the same job for 20 years. And unfortunately, what I see most of the time, the people who tell themselves love can take any shapes or forms are basically the ones who are not confident enough not to compromise, and they just tell it to themselves in order to make the process of settling more comfortable. They add some ideology to it. And since you're watching this video, I know that this is not you. You're not here to settle. You're not here to lower your standards. And so, if that's not you, you need clarity. This is very simple. If he doesn't fit the list, he doesn't get your time. And another thing that it does is it gives you fewer dates, but better quality. And that's exactly what we want, because going on dates just for hitting the quota is getting you burnt out. This is what gives you the doubt of, am I delusional about what I want? Is it even possible to meet a guy like that? Because you're wasting your time with the wrong men. You're wasting your energy getting your hopes up for something that never had the chance of working out in the first place. If you want to learn how to create the list properly, if you want to learn how to explore your standards, how to understand your needs in a way that allows you to skip talking to the wrong guys, I created a document with instructions on how to do it step by step. The link will be in the description of this episode. The download is free. Step number 4 is very challenging because dating is an extremely vulnerable experience. And I have been in a stable relationship for a long time now. And yet I don't think I will ever forget how I was crying in an Uber back home from another failed date where the guy wasn't even nice. Like, when I say he was nothing special, I am being generous. He was rude, not just to me. He kept correcting me. He was very rude to staff. He was disrespectful. He literally squeezed me in between a work meeting and a dinner with a friend. And he only told me that when we met. And there was no physical chemistry whatsoever. He was also much shorter than what he said on his profile. And so I wasn't even attracted to him. And yet still, I was crying in that Uber because I knew he wouldn't text me back. He wouldn't ask me out again. And that was caused by, one, me not taking my own advice from this video into step number 3. So not being very clear about what I want, so not being discerning enough, going on all these dates, which brought no chemistry and no connection, not hearing from these men again, and then feeling like there is something wrong with me because they felt like they were a league below, if we're being completely honest. But this is where I went to because I was so desperate for that validation, for that attention. And I feel like this is where many of my clients are as well. They are just so tired of not getting commitment and intention and consistent action from the men they actually find attractive. They're thinking, if I just go a level below, maybe this is the move, because then he will see me as more attractive, more valuable, and he will show up for me better. Well, that's wrong. Because you're thinking, if a guy I'm not even that crazy about in the first place is not treating me right, is there anyone who will? Am I delusional about what I can get? Am I a 2 out of 10 trying to get something that's unrealistic for her? And so, if this is where you are in your dating journey right now, if you're full of doubt, if finding a man, the right man, is possible, if your standards are realistic, or maybe if you're asking for too much and you're putting so much emphasis on doing everything right on your end, I want you to flip it, because this is what puts you in that pursuer mode, in that chaser mode. And so instead of focusing on dissecting every word you said and everything you did, start asking yourself, okay, did he show up on time? How were his table manners? How did he speak to staff? Did he listen? Was he a good conversationalist? As we established in that charming data section that I shared with you, there are literally millions of men who are compatible with you. And so, if that guy isn't ticking your boxes, don't be afraid to move on and see what else is out there. Because another thing I want you to always remember about is that when you settle, when you entertain a connection with someone who's not 100% what you want, you are blocking the space your dream man could otherwise take. And when you make that shift in your thinking, when you go from thinking time is running out and there are fewer and fewer men available, I have to make something work. When you go from that to actually leaning back and saying, well, I am gonna create a space for you to prove yourself that we are a match, for you to prove to me that you are my dream man, this is when everything changes. This is when men get crazy about you. This is when they are so afraid to mess it up, they keep showing up. They want to put their best foot forward and they don't want to take a risk of losing a chance with you because they know how much you value your time and your space and your peace. And men are hunters. Men love a challenge. Men love the pursuit. And so when you become unavailable in that way, it's irresistible. The big caveat here, though, is that this is not something that can be thought out on a logical level. You cannot become detached by just thinking. You can become detached only by embodying. And so, this is why everything I shared in this episode moves the needle so fast and so effectively because you essentially change your outlook. You change how you show up, you change how you think. And that's another reason why writing long paragraphs of text and sending them over WhatsApp never ever got any man more curious about you, never ever got any man feeling incentivized to actually pursue you because what you're saying is, I chose you already. Now I'm just trying to make us work. I'm trying to align us, but I'm willing to put in the work. You can just sit back, relax, and be the passenger princess. If this got you thinking, this is so me, I'm not even sure where I should start, which point I should lead with. Take my free dating audit. It will tell you what your biggest problem in dating is and the next 3 steps you need to take in order to fix it. The link will be in the description. The next episode will be about why the successful women intimidate men is absolute BS and how successful women unintentionally repel men and what they need to do differently in order to start meeting men who are secure in their masculine and provide for them, pursue them the way they want to be pursued. If you don't want to miss it, make sure to subscribe. See you then.